Hello, what's happening, everyone? Welcome to the LFC Toronto show. My name's Azaz, and we're trying something new. Let's see if this works. I've been on the other side of this a few times, so I just thought I'd give it a try for our show, and let's see if we can actually make this work. Very excited. Don't know what's happening on the other end, so if you see anything, if you're watching this, please drop a comment or something so we know it's all good. I think we might even post something in the WhatsApp channel in a minute. But before I do anything else, one by one, I'm going to introduce these hooligans to the stage. So first up, I'm going to bring in Jake. Jake, how's it going, mate?
Great. This is cool. This is a cool tool. Eh? This is cool.
Yeah. I'm going to do this so we can see a little bit of our thing. And then I can show you a couple of more sexy features like this thing here. We've got stuff that can come down the bottom.
Look at that.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. There's more stuff coming. So before I introduce our third homeboy, how's it going, Jake? How's life?
Good. Life is good. Life is busy. It's been a long calendar year, of course, but I'm just happy footy's back. I'm just happy we're doing well. I'm happy footy's back. It's something to look forward to. And of course, we're back on the pod scene again, so which is great, spreading our lovely LFC Toronto message across the world, and loving this new technology. This is great. This is fantastic.
Amazing. And just like that, just like this, here's the Danchise. How's it going, mate?
Excellente. I'm just on mute. I know, the classic. No, I'm good, man. I'm just loving the setup. Like, this is like official. It's proper polish. I love it. Nice to see you both once again.
Yeah, I mean, soon enough, Dan, you'll get the invoice for StreamYard too. But yeah, things are good, mate. Things are good. Also very excited to be testing this little thing out. Like, immediately what I can see is we're covering our tagline at the top there. So maybe I'll figure out how to work those kinks out next time. But for now, just excited to get moving with this new tool and see if this is the future. You know, we can have people jump in and go live. Also means, I think it means less editing for me later on as well, because I think we can just upload this thing. So very, very cool. Very, very exciting. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is put this thing across the bottom. We are live. Let's do this shit. And I'm going to go straight into the first thing I want to talk about today. So Darwin Nunez, absolutely on fire, our number 9. Would love to know your thoughts and how you see how that's shaping out 1 year into his Liverpool career.
Darweezy, I love him. You know, he what's the tagline right now? He doesn't score sitters, he scores screamers, right? So like right now he's just on fire. I think he has a better goal assist sort of average, I guess, than Mo Salah this season, which is like saying like a lot, right, in terms of per minute. And so it just sounds as all those haters, all those Talk Sport pundits and Sky Sports and everybody else, ESPN and people like that who you know, just really unfairly, I think, jumped on his back. He's not Erling Haaland, but you know, at the same time, like, who is, and at the end of the day, he did have a stop-start sort of season last season, but this season he's just been unbelievable whenever he's played. And so just to add him to the mix of our attack is unbelievable. Yeah.
Jake, you got to weigh in on this one.
I think that, you know what, I was watching some Anfield Rap stuff and a bunch of other, you know, they're talking about him highly, but also the start-stop season he had last year with the headbutt, the injury, he just didn't. I mean, when he came to us, he just didn't get it going, right? He just, you know, for whatever fault it was, his or, you know, otherwise, he just didn't get the first, like his first 10 games or so. It was just start and stop, and he didn't get any flow, like any cadence, and he was just kind of like, and you could see the pressure on him, on his soul, kind of thing. Like, he wanted to play, he was trying extra hard. Maybe too hard from that premise. And now he's been settled, right? And he's also been scoring in all the competitions. Like, worldly aside, He's got some assists. He's got his head. He's got his feet. He's doing all the kind of stuff. And, you know, it's still really, really early from that standpoint. I like those crazy Uruguayans, you know, and, you know, I don't want him to bite anybody or anything like that. But nevertheless, I do like the passion. And you can see the other thing I really love is the gelling of the folks now, right? Like, so Bosalai's in there, McAllister's in there, and they've got some good flow between him, Jota, Diaz, like Mo and Cody. And it's just, we've got some good riches. And Darwin's he's right on the top.
But you know what? Jake, just one other point to that. I'm not sure if you noticed in the last match. I mean, just you know, in the Carabao Cup match, Darwin did what he did up front, but he was actually like pointing defensively to players to be in position. So like that had to like change, you know, his positional sense, and you know, Klopp's been in his head probably, and you know, Pep and all those you know, sort of coaches and stuff. But like he's really matured, it seems, and bought into the culture and the system and everything. And so watch out, league, watch out.
This is the thing. I think that one of the coolest things about this is we kind of now have the complete attack between the five of them, you know, and you know, there are still people who don't necessarily see what Cody Gakpo brings. I hear it like every now and again, something, whether it's in the fan base, whether it's outside the fan base. But Cody is like our fifth choice. You know, like he's a star player for Holland and he's our fifth choice attacker at this point. We've never had this.
No.
We've never ever had this. No. You know, like people, you don't even have to be of a certain vintage. Like there's a lot of people who are active Liverpool fans who would have adored Liverpool when Fernando Torres was the main striker. And yet, you know, Torres' understudy for a big part of his time was David Ngog, you know?
Yes.
And there's always been those conversations. I know I was in England recently and my brother and I were watching the Crouchy documentary, and we both kind of looked at each other and said, man, if Crouchy had just stayed that one extra year, 08-09, we might have won the league because Torres was so injured. And yet here we have a situation where we're mixing it up. You know, this last weekend, Luis Diaz, who's one of the first names on the team sheet, goes through a personal tragedy. Diego Jota comes in, scores the opening goal, and lifts the guy's shirt. It's actually very, very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, super classy.
Depth.
Depth and width. You know, like they're different. They're different. That's the thing as well. Like there isn't a like for like, which means, you know, if you play Jota as a number 9, he's not my preferred choice. Darwin is, but if you play him as a number 9, you get something different than you do from Jota on the left.
Exactly.
You know, it's like it's very, very, very
skill sets are so varied. No, you're right. Just nice combo of talent.
So just still playing with this technology over here. Before I do jump into what the next part of the show will be, just want a quick take on where your ambition is at for this season. And there's a reason I'm asking this question, because I was in Elephant and Castle this weekend gone, and there was a conversation going on about just how good this particular Liverpool team is. And my take on that was, it's impossible to say that we're better than 2018 to 2020 because they won everything. But in my opinion, if this team played 21-22, I think this team would win. And 21-22 went for 4 trophies. You know, we were 180 minutes away from winning 4 trophies. But they didn't win the 4 trophies. So without disrespecting, I can actually say I actually think that this team could be a team that won the Carabao and the FA Cup only. I'll go with Dan first this time. Dan, what are your thoughts on what this team can achieve?
The cliche thing to say is like sky's the limit, but I actually think there is a limit to this team. Sorry to be
no, it's all good.
Danny Downer here, but no, I think. Like with this revamped midfield, I mean, I'd love it, you know, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking if there's, you know, if there's an injury or if, you know, there's like another, you know, sort of bad turn for us. I mean, these are all good problems to have right now, which we aren't, right? And there's still Basic and Thiago to come back potentially, like later on the season. So I think we can really weather that. Up front, we just talked about. The back line, I don't think is as big of a problem as people have made it out to be. And this whole, designated six and Andre coming in at the window and all this kind of stuff. I have that same feeling as us. I had famously quoted on episode 1 or 2 or whatever last
one,
about the quad,
yeah.
but I really fancy us, obviously, in the Carabao Cup. I mean, given the draw, and we have a tough opponent coming up in the quarter, but Europa, we're just walking through it right now. In the league, I mean, we're just in a nice bit of consistency, and then obviously when the FA Cup starts, what it is, but Jurgen seems to have his substitutions down. He has the options. He's comfortable. That's the biggest thing that I feel he has this season versus last season and the down year of 2021, where we incurred like basically every single injury on the back line. So, yeah.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
I think that I really like the midfield. I like the different facets of the box to box. I still think we have a lot of uptick to go. And what I mean by that is like Gravenberch hasn't played anything. His fitness is pretty shitty at the moment, and it's getting better week by week. He needs games. He needs that. He needs to understand the prem pressure. He doesn't have any time on the ball. He's very technical and can move. He's a big dude. And he has to believe what Klopp is telling him to achieve and fulfill his potential. And he's just scratching the surface. Endo's same thing. Endo's a really good, I think I don't know if it was a buy that was, it was a worrisome, that stopgap, whatever you want to call it, but he's got to get into the Prem as well and figure that out. So Szoboszlai has done very well from all aspects, right? He's, I'm not going to say who he's compared to and what second coming could be, but I do like that aspect of where we are from the midfield perspective. The things are to consider is like the injuries. Now, with Robbo being out for so long, like Simi, I like Simi. I like him a lot. It's a little bit of a difference on how we play in the flow on that side of the pitch from that perspective. But there isn't that much of a problem or downturn from that. And the keeper position is great. And I think this team, we got screwed over by VAR and the Pigeons, right? That pigeon game screwed us over big time. And that was like, I could not believe that happened the way it did, and hopefully that doesn't come to bite us. But looking at the Prem as a whole and looking at the top 6 and who the players are in the top 6 and who has lost and who has not, the tough run of games some of the teams have to come and play. I think that this is a very open Prem this year more than ever. And we are very well suited with injuries to come back, like Steven and Thiago coming back into the fold. And we're going to challenge. I think we have the capability to challenge so much on so many things. But, an injury here to a key player, I'm always worried about like the McAllister, Szoboszlai, like those two people are key catalysts to our midfield, and they cannot be injured at all, right?
So they're like our Rodri, if you will.
and game management is a very big thing, right, guys? Because I really want to see, I feel sorry for McAllister a little bit because I see him wanting to. It's like, you have that thoroughbred and he's got to hold him, right? And he wants to go and he goes very sparingly, but he's protecting the back. But I want him to be that Szoboszlai and him be the two box-to-box guys, and somebody can clean up the nonsense. And once we get that facet going with the freedom, if it's Andre or if it's whoever, then we're going to be like ruthless from that standpoint. And we will like really, really be on all challenging on all the fronts as we are. And I think we've got a banger of a season coming up, and who knows what we will win, but we will win someday.
Ooh,
yeah. There's just to address a couple of the points there. So firstly, I think the McAllister thing, I get that it's not ideal for him, but at the same time, I do think that we do not need a number 6 in 14 of the games at Anfield. Like, we actually do not need a number 6. Like, I get you want one, and it's almost like the fact that there's like literally 2 or 3 teams that are going to come to Anfield and actually try to take the ball and do something with it means Alexis McAllister playing in the number 6 in that time is is totally fine.
Mhm.
Then you look at who we've already played. So we've already played Chelsea, still a hard away game for us, and it was the first day of the season. I don't care really where they've netted out. Also, they're really high on the XG table as well. So they've actually not played as bad as people think they have. And, I have a couple of like, I do the North End, for example, and there's a Chelsea fan in there, and the whole season he's been saying, actually, we played all right. And then, and I look at this, and some most of the times I don't see the game, and then I look at the stats and I'm like, wow, like Chelsea played really well. They just didn't know how to finish their chances. Then there's Newcastle, Tottenham, like all these games we've already played. So like the fact that Andre's coming in and will play that number 6 for when Man City come to Anfield and all of these other games, or we go away, I can live with that. The other thing that I think that was highly exaggerated in the summer was this thing that, like, for example, Matip's finished, even myself, like I've had to go back on the fact that I thought maybe Joe Gomez has reached his height and he's come back to he's got. I mean, if we lose, I still think he'll be at the scene of the crime. But like that's not even an issue when we're winning by multiple goals. Like it's not. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Joel Matip in 2 of the games, West Ham against Mikel Antonio, and then against Everton when he played against Beto. Like that is as good as he's ever played. And there's so much. Yeah, and there's so much to say that Konate should be the starting guy with Virgil. And if we were going into Champions League, if we're going to go into the Europa League final, I'm going to start with Konate. But Konate does bring like the rash, like he could have been sent off recently and stuff. Whereas like Matip's just chill, like he's just like, you versus me, I'm going to win. Oh, I'm going to also bring the ball out, So back to that thing about not necessarily needing a number 6. Now you've also potentially got a guy who we didn't even think would be playing much this season, and he's still going on those adventures and like bringing the ball back and bringing an extra player into the mix as well. So like clearly there's weak areas because every team has weak areas, but like we've got the best goalie in the league. We've got maybe the best. We've got the second best, I guess, attacker, because how can you say Haaland isn't the best attacker in the league just on numbers alone? But when you look at like Mo, he's in the top 2 attackers in the league. Szoboszlai's. Yeah. It's really, really cool to see. And I just kind of wanted that reset before I go into this next thing, which is obviously looking forward to this first thing, Luton Town versus Liverpool. It's not going to be an easy game. I know that they've not had much joy so far this season, but it's going to be a small pitch. It's going to be, the crowd are going to be up for it. They've not had their moment yet in the Premier League. So, Dan, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an occasion for them. It'll be an occasion, I think, for the Premier League. I mean, like you said, I think that's a fair point. One of the marquee sort of established, entrenched teams like us, and but that being said, we put out our strongest team, and knock on wood, it should be it should be pretty straightforward. Again, hopefully the weather cooperates. No wind going from back to forth, and hurricane weather or whatever it was. But rain actually as well. Just I hate to. I hope I don't jinx anything here. This is a jinx in itself, but just let's get out of the match with no injuries. No major things. Maybe a knock or two, but nothing too major. So, but I fancy us all the way. Yeah.
Jake, Luton didn't win a single game in October, so the last game they won was against Everton at the end of September, and that was actually on the road as well. So Kenilworth Road, like old school stadium. They've not had too much success there this season. I think they've won 1 EFL game. I don't think they've won in the league there yet. Do you see any banana skin?
I don't know.
Potential way.
The only thing is like who. Okay, so the Klopp likes to rest folks, right? So who will he rest for this, and who will he start? Does Jones get in? Does Curtis get in? I don't really care so much about the front line because I love the fact that 50, 60 we have 2 or 3 people to come in, and we can adjust that accordingly, and then there's no problems. And we have different levels of attack. That's fine. It's the midfield who plays. Harvey plays. Who's going to play and who's going to get the rest, right? And so just making sure that there's that chemistry perspective, and do you have enough senior leadership to manage that midfield, rather than just putting some 2 fresh guys. Like, don't get me wrong, this Bournemouth one with Endo, whatever else, of course the winds were 60 miles an hour from that standpoint, but there were some times where the midfield was pretty run over to a certain degree, the ball was stagnant and whatever else, which is kind of tough, but it's the Prem. That's the problem, right? Stranger things have happened, right? And hopefully it's not going to be that strange for us. I think they're going to like playing in like a field. It's going to feel like a high school, pitch, right? It's like you got small stands on each side. You've got like, how many people in the stadium? Like 10,000 or something like that. I don't even know.
It's a small ground. I don't know if it's 10, but it's very small. Yeah.
50, whatever it is, and kudos to them to be in the spot that they are. Hopefully they can be above Everton in the league, but we have far too much quality on all aspects. If we have our heads on right, which hopefully we will, I think it could be like a 3-0, something like that, 3-4-0 from our side.
By the way, big time, just shout outs to the chat right now, just popping off. I'm not sure if you guys are watching this, but I see our boys Wayne, Danny, Akash, Sultan, they're all chatting it up right now. So
very
keep
nice.
it live, guys.
Is Sultan in the UK yet, or is he still here?
I thought he left this morning at 7.
I don't know. Where's that man of mystery? I'm not sure, but he's around somewhere. He's on this chat, so why don't we ask him?
Yeah, Sultan, let us know. What's the deal?
4-0 is what Wayne predicts. All right, Wayne.
Amazing. I mean, I don't disagree with him. I don't know it won't be 4-0 if we get an early goal. See, this is the thing with Liverpool at the moment as well, is that like when we get the first goal, teams are still playing dead. I find that so bizarre. Like we've seen it a couple of times now where we've scored a goal, and then instead of trying to come and score another goal and make it 1-1, teams are still just sitting there, like letting us attack them again and again. Yeah. And it's one thing to say they don't have a choice. They absolutely have a choice to not have 10 men on the edge of their area, So if we get that first goal and Luton just play dead, I don't understand that mentality. But if they do that, then who knows what score it could be. I don't think it will be 4-0. I think it's probably more likely to be like a 2-0, 3-1 kind of thing. We're always liable to concede a goal.
Yeah.
But I don't think 4-0 is that bad of a shout.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. By the way, Sultan's mid-flight right now, streaming on a flight, connected to a live stream on YouTube. Like, man, you are officially our biggest fan. He lines up at like 3 a.m. for our Champions League finals. Streams over flights over the Atlantic.
This mofo is winning prizes, so whatever.
He wins prizes. I don't know what, like, he has a horseshoe up his but anyway, he's benching like 235. I think I saw on IG the other day. Anyway,
he's just winning. He's winning. Sultan's winning. Yeah, he's winning in life. Okay, and then the next thing. So I'm also now looking in the chat as well, and Daniel just mentioned what would be our next one after that, which is went too early on that one. And then Toulouse versus Liverpool. So effectively, folks, if we win this game, we tie up qualification with 2 games left to go. Toulouse were poor at Anfield. They were really bad at Anfield.
Yeah.
I did like the Dutch kid, though. The Dutch kid, I don't remember his name. I did like him.
Played well, yeah.
up front, but
Mhm.
for I thought again, I don't want to say anything about the competition because there are some good teams in the competition, but I was hoping for a bit more of a fight, so to speak. Of course, I want us to win, but from that standpoint, but I mean, is this the competition level of the Europa?
Yeah, it feels like we're cheating. Like it feels like we're just like a class above, and I hate to bring back the whole who's in the CL versus who's not from the from the Prem.
Yeah,
Bring it
We all
up.
know who
Bring it
the
up.
imposters are. We all know who the imposters are.
Yeah.
And we know who the actual, sort of contenders are. And honestly, if we were in the Champions League this season,
oh my God,
like we would be up there. Like, yeah, so thank their lucky stars, that they're in there this season. But
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you, but I also think that having this ability to rotate a bit more than we would have if it was the Champions League probably holds us in good stead as well. It is a new team. It is a first run at this, Sabozlai everyone team. So I think if they had to all play in every single game, it might be a little bit of a harder thing. But, look at what happened yesterday when we had like Szoboszlai and Salah started, and then eventually the others came on. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
It was nice to see that. Yeah, and Gerald Konsa, man, honestly, like what a performance! Like fourth start, just like sorry, I just want to call him out. He was
absolutely
amazing.
He's like 18 or whatever.
Yeah, man. Like what? Respect that.
I think they just extended his contract. I think.
Yeah, like homegrown, and shout out to him, man. Just great performance.
Very well. But you know what? The thing is, he's just another one of a long line of keepers.
Another one
that does very well against us on levels. And of course, we scored, but he did very well, and kudos to him.
Very much so. We're getting through all the topics early. Obviously this was more about us getting back on the horse and also testing the live feature. But obviously I'm going to come to Jake for this one because we made a big announcement.
Look at that flash that date.
Whoa! We're covering the franchise here, but
it's okay, man. You can cover me all the time. It's all good.
You go.
So Crimbo.
Radio.
I mean, listen, we have got a great community first and foremost, and between like with the exec, we put in some immense hours, and part of that is growing our community as we do. So this Crimbo, for instance, we've sourced out gifts and raffle stuff and food, and we've got great entertainment. Steve Snickets and Dan Chai's here, Benny. Zazi's going to be singing this tune. Mo's going to be, strumming some stuff. And it's just a great community, right? It's just it's away from the match day to get to know your fellow, teammates, fan mates, whatever you want to call us. And it's just a great place to be. It's safe, fun. We all love the same things. We all talk the same language for the most part. Of course, there's some, randoms here and there, but nevertheless, and it's just a great camaraderie for everyone, right? And it's a good thing. Whether you drink alcohol, you don't drink alcohol, it's just a great for everyone. And I just kudos to the team that's putting this together because, without them, we wouldn't be doing these types of events. But this is just like the beginning. We have so many things planned. Like you should see our 5-year plan. It's like unreal. But nevertheless, the holiday party is here. The tickets are moving. I want to say that. I mean, I know it's like a month out, a little bit more than a month out, and we just started selling them. So please do look at our socials. Please click the links. Get your tickets because they are going fast. Because I think what's our limited capacity? Like 120, 116,
115, 120. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're at like 30 or 40, maybe. I think something like that. Anyways,
wow, that's really great.
It's only been like the first week, right? So
that's like Wayne and his entourage, and then there's like I guess others who want to show up. But anyway, big event, man, and that's like an annual thing at like at the club and Elephant and Castle. They've been like just unbelievable last year and also this year. So Carlsberg too. They're going to be. It's going to be some special things included, and let's see what happens. Looking forward to that.
I'm just looking at the chat here. So a couple of things over here. Wayne's buying his ticket for Crimbo in the morning. All good. Daniel, we have a prize to give this weekend at Sly Fox. I'm waiting everybody there. Steve from Liverpool is going to come sing with us for Crimbo.
That's right.
I love this. The fact that we get to be interactive.
I know. It's huge.
Steve is great. Yeah. Steve is a great singer. Like, one of the great things is like in between the sets, he's doing Liverpool trivia. He was asking questions. I was like, I don't even know the answer to this. I'm like, you know who does? Zach knows the answer to this in a freaking heartbeat. I was like, he's like, in 1912, who was the striker that scored 4 goals at this, whatever else? And I'm like, I don't know, no clue. But anyways, he was just kept it going, and it was just great. So Crimbo, you'll see.
Amazing. Very, very, very exciting. Any other messages? Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll bring this to an end, and I'll figure out how I actually share this.
We have this fancy technology. So, and we have chats and we have things that are going. Anybody in our community that would like to be on our show, please, of course we will vet you out. But nevertheless, let us know if you want to be part of the crew, part of the chat, and we will get you on.
Yeah, I love this new. I was going to say I love this new format. Really live and interactive. Wanted some of these AKA numpties come on here and make it a nice party, a nice community party. How about that?
Do you know what's really cool about this as well is we can have multiple people on at the same time.
Whoa.
So it's not even limited to 4 anymore. We can have like literally 4, 5, 6. I can remove people. There's a lot of power here as well. So I can mute, like for example, if I don't agree with something that Jake's saying, I can just mute him right there.
Wow.
And like the power exists. So you can't abuse the system, but I think that this will be a really cool way for the fans to hang out. And should there ever be anything else like a global P word, which I hope there obviously won't, but if there is, maybe we would even do some watch alongs on here as well.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get James on, and we'll get a few other folks on there too. Yeah. Just looking at the chat, I mean, everyone's just super into it. I love it. Like, how many people are on here? It's crazy. Anyway, shout out to them.
Very, very cool. Yeah. We had the most concurrent viewers we had at a time was 6,
nice.
But we've had 10 different viewers. Ooh. Again, for considering we never even announced this, I did drop it in the chat, but otherwise, I'm into this. This is very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess the only thing we're missing here is like the notion of like Liam is typing or something. But other than that, everything else is.
Liam
the pub opens at what time? Sorry.
Yeah.
Slide opens an hour before. What is Elephant open? Hour and a bit? 10?
Hour and a half now. Yeah. So 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
Drink your Carlsbergs.
Yeah. Drink up the Carlsbergs and get your seat because it's a good kind of midday-ish clash. So it's a great time for. It's not a 7:30. It's not a whatever. It's like a good time to come.
Yeah.
And enjoy.
And no room for keyboard warriors. Come on, Akash, make it out, bro.
Cool, guys. I think that's it. I think that's all she wrote. So I'm gonna end the stream and then figure out how we make sure we don't lose what we just did, because that bit I've never done before. And otherwise, see you this time next week, or we'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Cool, folks.